entitled mom tries to deny her dying son his wish and tries to kill him because the books I got for him aren't satanic. So for some backstory, I'm in a D&D group with a couple of friends from nearby, and one of the members of the group was a kid who was about 15 years old. He's a really sweet kid, likes helping other people out, and he's a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons. He also has cancer in both his lungs, and he's from a religious family that basically forces him to act pure while he's in their sight. The mom is WBC level rabid, while the dad is just a reasonable person who just tries to get him to be a good kid. When he's out of sight of his parents, he just does normal teen stuff. Because of his mom, the only books he's allowed to own were Christian books and Bibles. He joined our group mainly as a way to escape his home life and his mom. A couple weeks ago, the cancer in his lungs started to get to him, so he was taken to a nearby hospital by his parents. He contacted me about this a day after he was taken to the hospital, stating that he wanted a monster manual as his last wish, stating that he was tired of reading the same things. I bought him the book from Barnes & Nobles, but considering that he's a dying teen, I got him Volo's Guide to Monsters and Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes stacked on top of that. The next day, which was his birthday, he was still in the hospital, so I bought him the books as a gift. After he blew out the candles, we had cake and he started opening the gifts. Mine was the first to be opened. Seeing what they were, he immediately got this humongous grin on his face and hugged me. Meanwhile, his mom stared down the books with a look of pure disgust, with her husband staring at her with this wary look in his eyes. She picks up one of the books and relights one of the candles and holds the damn book over it, trying to set it on fire. I managed to stop her and demand, "What the fuck are you doing?" He asked me to get those books, and I'm not going to let you take them away. His mom simply stared me down and said something about the lines of books being sinful, satanic, and full of evil, and that her son had no business with them. I retort and say that her son can read what he wants, and that she shouldn't have to force him to be Christian. She starts getting red in the face and yelling about me, essentially forcing him to be Christian. About forcing children to believe in God from a young age. I state that I'm a Baptist, which I actually am, and say that faith in God is a matter between God and the individual. She turns red all over and actively starts to try and destroy the books, with me, my friend, and her husband trying to stop her. At one point I shouted, "Would God want you to do this, to restrict your dying son's freedom of expression?" right in her face. And this just sets her ablaze. She tosses the books aside and starts trying to strangle her son, and her husband calls security immediately when she does this. Security got there within a minute or so by the two of us trying to pry EM off her son and drag her away, with her shouting that we're all catamites to the devil. Both her husband and my friend charge her with child abuse, assault, and attempted murder. The trial's still going, and I'll try to update as the trial goes on. And as for an edit, the trial was almost a disaster. Me, him, and her husband all prosecuted against her. The moment she saw us, she tried to tackle us, shouting something about divine retribution. But the officers restrained her. During this whole thing, she kept pinning the blame on me and him, calling us corrupted by Sid. Needless to say, she was pronounced guilty of all 3 charges that I mentioned earlier. The moment she heard this, she went apeshit and tried to attack the judge, but the officers tased her to the floor. Now she'll be serving for 20 years for other 3 charges, with 10 more on top of assaulting a court official. Thank you all for the support you guys gave us.